Have you ever wondered how much we can do with a pattern? We all have so many, from different designers, from different styles. We just can't help ourselves. As stitchers, we love patterns. Some kitted, some not kitted. But let's have a look and see what we can come up with. There are some patterns we love, but talk ourselves out of. What are we going to do with that? We stitch it once. We might not even want to stitch the whole thing, and that dissuades us from buying it. We look at these designs and we see so many opportunities, but yet we have to make a decision. There's just so many patterns out there. We look at the colours. We talk ourselves into it based on our styles, our colours. Some use fancy floss. That could be expensive. Some we like to change, and we change it ourselves and get brave and use hand-dyed threads. Or do we stick simple and just use DMCs? There is so many options out there. But what if we change the colours? What if we change the layout? Just taking elements from the chart and stitching it, all of this is fine. So many people ask me on a regular basis, will the designer mind? What are we being rude to a designer by changing it? In my opinion, no. We love the charts, but we all look for a little piece of unique in everything we stitch. I don't think the designers would mind. We've bought their patterns, we're not sharing their patterns, we're just creating our own style with it. In this series, I'm doing exactly that. I'm using this gorgeous chart from Liz Mathews called After the Rain, which is a chart that came out last year in 2021. I saw this chart, I was talking myself out of it so much. Why would I want to stitch all of the rainbows, I kept saying to myself. I'm not a rainbow person. I love all the colours, but what do? Am I just going to stitch it once? And so many people felt the same way. A lot of people bought the chart straight away, and I'm glad for that. Some just because Hello from Liz Mathews is an amazing designer. Some because they really like rainbows. Others, we bought it to stitch together. In this series, I'm going to be showing you how I have taken this chart, and I will be making at least 12 different styles. So I really hope you enjoy this series. Let's get started and have a look at what I've created this month. Hi all! So, as we just said, let's jump straight in with the February After the Rain project. So I am absolutely loving stitching this series this year. It is really kind of fun to come up with different styles. Some of them may not even be stitching related, but they are featuring this chart. And I just can't wait to see how many I can come up with and how I can explore and create my own things featuring this chart. So on this chart, one of the main things I loved about it is the fact that Liz Mathews decided to do it as a collaboration with other YouTubers and them picking out their own colours. So you've seen so many different colourways of this. So I have noticed that my colours do change quite a lot, and that's just, I pick whatever I fancy to go with. So the first month I created a project bag that you may be able to see in the back there. And this is where I'm storing everything for future months. So I'm already working on March, so I'm not going to show you too closely for that. You'll have to check back on the 15th. Now I've just seen in the background, let me just remove my mask that is up there. So let's have a look at what I created for February. Now February, I knew I wanted to do something that was all about things I love. Valentine's is not really my thing, but let's take the element of Valentine's and appreciate what we have and what we love and try and support that in the month. So I decided I wanted to focus on a piece of fabric that I bought fairly recently, but I've been looking at quite a long time, but I just never knew what to do, and I thought my challenge is going to be using that fabric in my piece. And that fabric is this one here. Now it is going to blur out, I do apologise, maybe if I tilt it to one side. The lighting is quite difficult today, so hopefully you can see it. So this is by Claire Brown X Stitch, and it's a printed fabric. It's 18 count, and it's these gorgeous pastel paw prints. Now I didn't realise how much of the paw prints I was actually going to lose, because For instance, there is one over here, but you can't really see it. They kind of blend into the background. So if I just tilt it a little bit more, you might be able to see. So I decided I wanted to use as many different techniques as I love. So focusing on the cross stitch, I used 2 of my favorite rainbows of the chart, because the chart does feature a variety of different types of rainbows, and these were the ones that I really enjoyed stitching in the first project. So I stitched the rainbows over 2 squares, which meant that my fabric that was an 18 count, the rainbows are actually stitched as if they were on a 9 count piece of fabric, so they are incredibly big. This frame is a 20 by 20 centimeter frame from Hobbycraft. It's just one of their basic frames, and that gives you an idea of the size. This is just under 20 by 20 centimeters across for these rainbows. So stitched on 9 count, they are very big. I wanted to make a heart out of these rainbows, and when I was stitching them, I realized if I put them right next to each other, it does kind of form the top of the heart. I was going to then stitch down to form the bottom of the heart, but I decided one of the things that I love doing is I got a Cranic cord maker that I purchased off of Amazon, and I love making my own cording. Absolutely love making it. It's super fun to do, and I love seeing how the colours came together. So I use the same DMC colours. I used DMC for this project once again. I used DMC 3840, 3813 and 152, these gorgeous pastel colours. Then for the cording, I'm hoping you can see without it blurring out too much, I just basically corded those same 3 colours together, and it's come down to form a point at the bottom of my piece, so it makes a heart. I needed to feature something photo wise that I absolutely love but also could share on the internet, so I picked to do my 2 family pets. Now we do have multiple pets, but I decided to feature the dogs because my parents recently, I've not met her in real life yet, but recently got a new German Shepherd, which is this little puppy here, and she is called Sheba. I have nicknamed her Sheba the Sassy because she always talks back. And this is Cliff, who is now 6 years old. We've had him for probably about 5 years now. He was a rescue dog that my parents rescued, and I love my baby. I absolutely love him. When I get home, always love playing with him, winding him up, taking for walks. If you watched my December Flossmas, you would have seen him when I got home. He was in quite a lot of my series. Absolutely love him. So I've got Cliff and I've got Sheba. These are 2 photos, one of Cliff that I took ages ago. This was about a year or 2 ago, and then this is a photo that my sister sent through of Sheba. I then used, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it in the light, the stitching with the Housewives fabric, because I absolutely love their fabric. I decided to use the stripe one so it didn't take away too much from my actual design, and I have raised this up, so I'm not sure if you'll be able to see, it is fairly raised up on my piece, and that's why I needed to get a shadow box. I've taken out the glass because even in a shadow box it wasn't going to fit nicely, and I didn't want the photos rubbing against the glass, so I've taken that out. The Crochet Poppy up here, now this represents 2 things. My nan, who passed away a couple of years ago, I called her Mama, absolutely loved poppies, so I knew if I was going to do something I loved, I wanted to include a poppy somewhere in the piece, which is something I often do when I'm doing a piece that is based on this kind of feeling. The other reason is my sister crocheted this poppy. My sister loves to do crochet, so I have included her in. So I've got one sister who sent me the photos and another sister who's crocheted the poppies. I love doing stitching on fabric and the whole junk journaling type thing, so I've taken some of the Tim Holtz pieces and I've just written the names Sheba and Cliff, and have the little stitched pieces stacked up here with another crochet heart. And then at the very top I have my button. So this is actually just blue tacked onto the frame because I don't know if I'm going to keep it in this frame forever or whether this is actually going to go in my scrapbook. Most likely will end up in my scrapbook, so I've just blue tacked the bow. I love making bows out of organza. This bow has been kicking around forever. It's probably one of the first ones that I did that I really liked, and then just never stuck it to a project. So I thought, here we go, this is the project. I then used the leftover cording I created to make a little bow shape and did a covered button with the Stitching with the Housewives fabric once again to tie it in, but also because I love making covered buttons. So that is my February piece. I have created a heart with the rainbows. Absolutely love how that turned out. A lot of people now have told me it's like a smiley face, and now I can't get that out of my head, but oh well, I like smiley faces as well. So that is my piece. I really hope you enjoyed this series. Don't forget to give it a big thumbs up if you are loving watching the series or just excited to see what I do next. As always, I love feedback and comments, and let me know, what do you think I should create with this series? Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Have a great day. Happy stitching, guys. Bye.